You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, the question is, what should be done with the terrorist?
Lock and load and aim carefully.
And here we are with
Yes, terrorists should be dealt with only the strictest of gun control.
Absolutely.
Use both hands.
Breathe right.
Breathe correctly. Squeeze the trigger. Don't, press the trigger. Don't snap the trigger. Don't yank it. That's how terrorists should be dealt with lots of gun control.
Yes.
The good kind. The good kind.
The good kind.
Yes, absolutely the good kind.
The kind of gun control that we support here on Locked and Loaded. 2 hands.
That's right.
Controlled breathing. Firm grip.
And that also applies to sex as well.
Well, there goes another topic. And let the emails start now. That's
we're
Roger
not even regulated.
Let the emails fly. That's Roger at AmericasWebRadio.com
That's
or Roger at AmericasWebRadio.com.
Oh my goodness! Yes, sometimes I usually get muzzled pretty good, but today they let me off my leash.
Who did?
Yeah.
I don't know. I came in and the leash didn't go on, so I'm running wild today.
Uh-oh.
Now I know you guys mentioned this last week while I was indisposed.
Yeah, and by that he means kicking back on the beach.
Now, let's not mention where I was or what I was doing.
You were listening to Locked and Loaded, right?
Yes, I was listening at home. I was laid up. I couldn't get in, but anyway, you guys mentioned
get in what?
Mark and Patricia McCloskey.
Oh,
Yeah.
You mentioned the illegal search and seizure. They grabbed their weapon. Well, let's pick up on that because this story is now developing. It is getting crazy. First of all, after that happened, after their weapon was seized, they had over 50 offers from various gun companies, gun shops, individuals to give them another AR-15.
Well, that's awesome. I hope they accept it.
I don't know if they did or not because
the St. Louis law that they're using was the unlawful use of a weapon. There was no grounds that says he can't go get another one.
Yeah, well, yesterday they
gift.
filed charges against him for what they did.
And it was that stupid Gardner, the prosecutor, who
Kim Gardner,
has her head so far in the mud that
is that what they're calling crap these days?
Yeah. Well, it's sort of stanky mud,
Let's see.
But anyway, yeah, Kim Gardner isn't worth the powder to blow her nose.
No.
And she's got a big one.
Yeah, David, I mentioned to it before. We talked about this, I think, David, a week or two ago. She is one of those that was funded by George Soros. And somebody called her out on it, and she said, no, I don't have any problem with it, with the money that she took from George Soros.
Yeah. But this is the same prosecutor who last year let a child murderer go free after he confessed.
Right.
They had a confession, and federal prosecutors went in and investigated because they had a confession from this guy, and they let him go because she said the case wasn't strong enough. He said he did it. He killed an 8-year-old girl, and she let him off.
Well, this is also the prosecutor who lets rioters and looters go.
Right.
But will go after your Second
Well,
Amendment.
they're claiming the McCloskeys pointed a weapon at peaceful protesters.
Huh. There was nothing peaceful about that protest,
They were stopped. Did you see the destroyed gate they broke into?
To get to
breaking
his
and entering is not considered peaceful.
This is the thing that I hope that that there are good constitutional lawyers that are reaching out to McCloskey, and I believe McCloskey owns a law firm anyway.
He is a lawyer, yeah.
Yeah. And, they got to be
hopefully
chomping.
He's got this under wraps.
Well, they got to be chomping at the bit. You cannot, on the one hand, as a prosecutor of all things, tell me that, it's a peaceful protest, when to get to the area to confront the McCloskeys, they had to break in a neighborhood.
Oh, and they were trespassing as well. So let's not forget, breaking and entering,
and
trespassing,
No,
threatening.
2 laws that were broke right there. But my point is, if a neighborhood is a gated community and has an enter and exit, and Clearly.
Now, if you
That
sneak in by
is,
going around the gate or climbing over a fence,
it's
but they
still
broke,
trespassing.
it's trespassing. But then it's not breaking, but it
they
is entering.
broke,
But they
but they-
smashed an iron gate to get in this place.
You know what
That's
I'd,
what I'm
I'd
saying.
like to see is everybody go on Twitter and Twitter Kim Gardner and tell her she's a dumb bitch. And put it on Twitter and you can sign it America's Web Radio. She has, everybody has class. Hers just happens to be of the lowest.
Low variety.
Yeah. And she is, if I were an attorney, she would be an embarrassment to the profession. She is not an attorney. She is a self-supporting individual that all she cares about is when do I go in front of the camera again and get my ugly mug on the camera for doing something stupid.
Yeah, and they're being charged with unlawful use of a weapon. And now keep in mind, 300 protesters were shouting as they broke down a gate in this neighborhood to march past their home. And as they were marching past the home, they were threatening the people there, saying, we're going to sleep in your house, we're going to kill your dog, we're going to kill your family. They were making threats as they were doing this. So they were basically committing assault, breaking and entering, and trespassing. And she
And
has a problem
threatening.
with use of showing of a weapon.
Right. They didn't fire the weapon.
No
They
shots
didn't-
were fired
they-
at all during this.
And they were threatened. And, when again, they broke down a gate. They came into, so they're trespassing. They did breaking and entering. Then they moved to the front and stopped in front of this house, telling him, we're going to burn your house down.
Yep.
There were threats
there were-
of violence to his pets, even.
I know. What
And
idiot
so-
threatens a dog? Have they not seen John Wick?
Right. So what was this? So what was McCloskey supposed to do? Wait and cower in his home for them to break into his home,
And
and
shoot
then
'em all?
there would be shots fired.
Yeah.
The mayor of Portland would have said, well, come on in, can I fix you a drink?
Exactly.
Fat
Come
douche.
join my happy party. What does she call it? The
Summer of Love.
Yeah,
Heck.
well, I got
A big
we're gonna
slumber party.
We're gonna have the summer of lead if this keeps on going, and
Yes,
that's
indeed.
not gonna. I mean, look, I want to mention this real quick. We have got a couple of Army National Guardsmen that are tuned in right now.
We do?
Yes, we do. And one of them pointed out that they want to defund the police. So if they do that, how are they going to enforce all their gun laws and tax laws and everything else? So it's a good, fine point.
Well, if they give us a tax refund for defunding the police, that would enable Second Amendment supporting citizens to buy some extra ammo, get a few extra weapons.
Speaking of extra weapons and extra ammo, this Kim Gardner and McCloskey have pointed out in basically one swoop that in one swoop they pointed out why we need 30-round mags.
Exactly.
I mean, they
when
made it
300
very
protesters show up,
clear.
you need 10 30-round mags.
Yeah. So they made it very clear for us. I mean,
Because
they-
you don't
they've
want to start
settled the
counting. You
argument.
don't want to start counting and go, oh, some of you people are going to have to share a
You
bullet.
have to share a bullet.
How about just a belt-loaded 50 caliber on your roof?
That would work. The
That
Mod
would
Deuce.
work too. Yes, the Mod Deuce would be a fine addition to your rooftop patio.
Of course, I prefer a minigun personally.
That would work too. Well, you're gonna.
Unfortunately, I think
it's expensive,
coming to
though.
that,
You're-
at some point, it's like trying to change the name of the Texas Rangers.
Oh,
what?
man?
Hello.
What are they trying to change it to?
There is no. There's no
No,
telling.
they just,
They
uh,
want to take away one of the most feared police forces on the planet, and that's the Texas Ranger. You
right.
might get pulled over by state Texas police. You might get pulled over by the
Well,
municipality.
a Texas Ranger won't stoop so low as to pull you over.
Oh, right. No, what I'm saying is in Texas, and you may think, oh, it's just the police. But when you're confronted by a Texas Ranger, you don't want to be in that position.
No, they're the baddest of the bad. Well, they've been around for 150 years, haven't
Yeah.
They were the first to be issued the 357.
they? Nice.
And I had a friend that was a Texas Ranger, lived across the street from a close friend, and he took us. I told you this last week, didn't I? That he took.
I wasn't
us,
here last week.
Oh, okay. Well, he took us
I was
out.
at home recuperating.
Yeah, I thought you were on the boat when you had that terrible boat accident with the.
That's
weapons.
right. Most of my weapons were lost. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, he took us out and showed us what a 357 would do to an engine a car
Oh,
engine.
neat. Yeah.
And go right through the block like what block?
Like butter.
Yep.
Like butter.
And but Texas Rangers, yes, and they our friend that used to play one on TV might have, it's sort of like that saying, "Why take a knife to a gunfight?" Well, that's sort of like, "Why take karate to a gunfight?"
Yeah, same thing.
And,
Yeah.
and this is what. I just thought of his name and it slipped right out. But he, he's we don't, we're the best trained people in the world, but why do we want to mess up our uniform and fight somebody? Well, that's why we carry a gun.
That's right. So you don't have to fight.
That's right.
Right.
Usually, the threat of a weapon will quell an opponent.
Look,
usually without its use. A lot
Yeah,
of times
that-
without even using it. You
I
point
can
a weapon at
tell
someone's
you.
head, all of a sudden they become extremely cooperative, because in any language, pointing a gun at someone's head has the same meaning as far as requests go.
Absolutely.
Cease and desist
Cease
whatever
and
you're doing.
desist.
In other words, stop it.
Yeah,
That's right.
I can attest to that. Just me personally, for as long as I've carried, I've never had to.
But your passenger did
Well, let me
once.
put it this way. Let me put it this way. Yes, the passenger. But even then, she didn't unholster it. It stayed in the holster. She just pulled up the whole thing.
The whole
I
rig.
have unholstered it once, but most of the times, only once. But all the other times I've ever had to, all I had to do was show it.
Yeah. Usually they just know it's there.
But
It's
I did
like,
have a passenger.
You want to
who,
escalate this?
I'll tell you what. The passenger was kept a cooler head than I did, because I was ready to go hand to hand combat. And
And she shut that crap
but
down
my
right away.
passenger, yeah, this was an incident. Happened at a gas station. A guy followed. Actually, he followed my passenger in. It was a female, and I noticed this. So I exited the vehicle and went into the store. Because I saw him follow her, and then he harassed her in the store, and I got between them, escorted her out, tried to de-escalate the situation, put her in the car, put myself in the car, and was ready to leave the area. And this guy proceeded to run up and start banging on the back of my car, which I proceeded to open the door and want to go hand in hand. But she proceeded to brandish my weapon that I had in between the seats and
But
put
you,
it into it.
but you were looking left out the
yeah.
driver's window. All of a sudden he backs up and you're like,
Right. So when
You
I
look over and she's got the weapon pointed right
so
at
when I was getting ready to exit to my left, he comes up, and before we could engage, I wasn't even out of the car completely. He backs up real quick, puts his hands up in the air, and I'm looking at him going. And then I slowly turn around, and I see my passenger, beautifully trained style, with the weapon pulled up, aimed pinpoint chest, and he looked at me and he goes, I owe you an apology. And I went, no, you owe her an apology.
So you
And
would say the brandishing of the weapon caused immediately a gush of
It-
politeness.
It did. Not only did it bring on politeness, it saved him a hell of a beating.
A hell of an ass whooping. Okay, there you go. Yeah, see that? See, so the weapon, actually brandishing the weapon de-escalated the situation.
De-escalated. It really did. It really
Yeah.
did. It saved me from getting scuffed up. It saved him from going to the hospital with broken legs. Because look, I break legs. I have to.
It's your first target.
I mean, that's what I can reach the closest to me.
Ah, come on, tell the truth. You're actually you just disguise yourself at 5'3" instead of really showing your
Really
whole
showing the whole-
He's 6'4".
6'4", yeah, exactly. And you
Boy,
do a hell of a job.
and my-
Which costume shop do you go to
Dude,
get
I
that
tell you,
shrunken look?
Works great, doesn't it?
Okay, with that being said, we got to take a break. We'll be back with more of this meaningful conversation. I don't know.
Is that what they're calling this?
I don't know who it means anything to, but anyway, we'll be back. That's not a threat. That's a promise.
Oh boy.
Whether cruising the strip in a
threat to me.
57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
And you really do need to tune in to the Classic Car Show. We had Steve Moskowitz on, AACA director, talking about how they've had to change their opening of their new facility, remodeling that they've done that's we understand is great. And also... that's all right. Shut up. No, I'm on and you're supposed to be off. You didn't get that message? That was a memo that I just sent out. Shut up.
Okay, got it.
Got it. Okay.
Well, those memos go out quick.
That was a direct memo. In fact, I shot it off of Victor, and it
That's right,
ricocheted
it
right
ricocheted
now.
into Rob.
But anyway, so the classic car show was great this past Saturday, as was Victor's On Point just a few minutes ago, and all of our shows are great. And you too can become a part of the America's Web Radio family by becoming a patron. You might get a hat, you might get a flag, you might get a picture of Roger B.
What?
Yeah.
Somebody wants that?
No, but you got to put something on the wall in the outhouse.
Punishment.
Everybody needs a target.
That's right. Okay, so with that being said, we'll forego the rest of the great information and just come back to the show with Mr. B, our expert on weapons.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I have to mention
Walking
somebody.
encyclopedia.
I have to mention somebody here. She's wasn't a gun story, but Bevelyn Beatty was in New York.
Is this hero of the week?
Hero of the week, possibly the month, we'll see.
All right.
She had her SUV loaded up with gallon cans of black paint. She took them out, went past the barricades in New York, and was throwing black paint all over the BLM. Let's call it. What does De Blasio call it? A mural.
The mural.
Yes, it was a
De
testament.
Blasio mural.
Yeah, it was a testament to terrorists. The burn, loot, murder crowd was getting some attention, and they painted Black Lives Matter in big yellow letters, and of course, they did it right in front of Trump Tower
Of course.
because he's a petulant child.
Who
Yes,
is De Blasio?
De Blasio.
Is it De Blasio or Cuomo?
De Blasio, I believe, did
Yeah.
in front
The
of
painting,
the tower,
yeah.
the painting,
And
the
what is
mural.
his real name?
What is it?
Warren
William
Wilhelm.
And he's a communist, is that
Yes,
correct?
he supported the
Oh.
Sandinistas, the Russian-backed Sandinistas.
In case you were
in Nicaragua.
wondering,
And he's proud of his communist work.
Very proud of it. So is Sanders. So is the rest of the Democrat Party.
But anyways, this
that's
lady,
another story. Go ahead.
Bevelyn Beatty, she went out there with these cans of black paint, had the lids loose, threw black paint all over the mural, then got down on her hands and knees with her gloved hands and was smearing it all over the yellow parts of the mural.
Oh.
And she's yelling, "Refund the police! Refund the police!" And you should have seen the cops. They're walking over there, talking on their ear. They're watching her for a while, and then they kind of tap her on the shoulder, like, "Hey, can you stop? We're told you have to make you stop."
De Blasio douchebags
And
making
she's
us ask you
smearing
to
for like
stop.
5 more minutes while they're gently nudging her a little bit while she's yelling, "Refund the police! Refund the police!"
Oh, that's great.
You watch that, and they're
Oh,
being so gentle with her. It's great.
There's a good hashtag, refund the police.
Yes.
You know, that's awesome because the NYPD right now, you want to talk about morale.
Oh, geez.
and
A lot of them
lack
are just giving up.
thereof. Yeah, de Blasio put a pause on retirements because so many NYPD guys are retiring.
Yeah.
So he makes only a certain amount can retire every week.
And they're probably
And
maxing that out every
they
week.
are. That's why he did that because they were unbelievably number of them are starting to retire. And how sad is that the guy that's supposed to be the leading
He's the commander-in-chief of
right.
the police department.
has
essentially.
doesn't have the back of the of
no
the police.
respect for his
No res-
own police department.
But
That's
here's
ridiculous.
here's a man that forces the NYPD to surround him wherever he goes.
Right.
Well, look at
Wherever
it
he
like
goes.
this. There's an answer to this. I don't know if you all have picked up, but it's bring back Tom Selleck as chief.
Is the NYPD Blue?
Yeah,
okay.
Blue blood.
Blue
Blue
Bloods.
Bloods.
Blue Blood,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We got to
You
bring
know,
back Selleck.
Yeah, I agree. You know, here's the thing too, Roger and David. The very people
I really wish you wouldn't put me in the same
sentence.
with,
Yeah, I don't blame
I need
him.
to differentiate. Well, that's why your desk is over there and we are
Right
over
here.
here.
But you know what, though? But wait, there's more to this.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, they arrested her, took her into custody, but, of course, de Blasio's no bail and release policy applied to her as well. So they let her out. She did it 3 more times.
Oh, that's excellent. Now she is definitely in contention for Hero of the Month.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
she's just,
definitely.
and she was wearing a shirt that says Jesus Matters.
Oh wow!
And she's going, Black Lives Matter
Say.
doesn't care about you or your life. They only want to kill us all. And
Yeah,
she's smearing over
Marxism.
this mural with cans of black paint, her and her associates.
Wow, good for her.
And
Okay,
because
now-
of de Blasio's policy, she was out to do it
So
3
she was
more
out
times.
To do it 3 more times.
I don't
So
know
far.
if folks understand this, but Mr. B is really independently wealthy, and he's put up a reward of $1 for anybody that can.
$1. Wow.
$1.
You know,
Okay.
it's
Just
the
like-
last,
yeah, I know.
last of the big time spenders.
It's
That's
just like
right.
the bets that we make. $1.
And anybody that can email us one thing that BLM has done for blacks.
Well, they've given them a bad name.
I'll give you $2 if you can find a BLM that marches in Chicago about the 70-something shootings that just happened just this weekend.
How
I know.
about one BLM that can march in step?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Oh,
but
they're
man,
being
that-
hijacked by communists. Communists and socialists have
Well,
hijacked
there's
the burn,
a-
loot, murder crowd.
It really is, and but like I said, if you look at the very people that De Blasio forces to protect him, he has no respect for and just throws them under the bus every time. So does De Blasio, is he just devoid of smarts that he can't figure out that if somebody were to attack him, that the NYPD that is in charge of protecting him might slip and fall on a banana peel at the same time?
I know. Or,
I mean-
or step out of the way instead of into the way, or
yeah.
push him gently into the bullet.
Whoops.
Whoops. It's the kind of, it's like in Vietnam, the guy who got shot by his own troops. Yeah, well, that would be De Blasio.
That'd be De
Friendly,
Blasio.
He'd be out of his
friendly
way.
fire.
Yeah.
That's
As
right.
it's
There's nothing
called.
friendly about being fired upon,
Friendly
but
fire.
he's asking for it.
You
oh
know
my
the thing,
gosh.
as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't waste a bullet on De Blasio.
Yeah, no
I'd
kidding,
rather
man.
use it on a target.
We'll just give him the BLM treatment. Just have somebody run by with do a drive-by batting.
Yeah.
And I am not advocating violence, but this is what's happening in New York.
Well, or they could pour a water bottle on him and he might drown.
You know what? It's possible. He's got his elitist nose so far up in the air.
Yeah.
That's right. Might just pour down his
that
face.
Yeah. It's just sad, but you look at the video if you want to look up some of this stuff. We're not making any of this stuff up. And here's how messed up it is. The chief of police, the highest uniformed officer in the
Oh,
NYPD,
yeah, I saw that. He was assaulted.
Beat up.
a couple of weeks ago kneeled with the very people in solidarity, and 2 weeks later getting his head beat in by a bat
Yep.
Yeah.
from the
And,
people that he kneeled with.
He may lose an eye out of it. too.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Well, I
but
mean, you
but the
don't-
lesson here of what I want is
You can't appease people
no,
who
you can never appease this kneeling
people who
business.
have no
Oh.
no sympathy or
Speaking
no
of- speaking
ability
of-
to compromise.
Right.
Speaking of that, is this Portland mayor that his philosophy is, okay, well, Hitler's really a good guy. If we just give him a little space, he'll change and he'll be a good guy. He won't try to take over anything, and that's what we're doing in Portland. We're just giving him a little space, and we'll just treat him,
Yeah, whatever. It's ridiculous. You can't appease people who have an
never
agenda
appease.
for violence and destruction.
You know, I believe it was it Wilt Chamberlain that tried to convince the world that, oh, I talked to the guy. I met with Hitler. It's all good now. I used my words. Not Wilt Chamberlain.
No.
That was a basketball guy.
that was a basketball.
Neville.
No.
Neville?
Neville Chamberlain?
That's it.
Oh, Neville. Oh, yeah, yeah.
No.
The politician. I was going. Wilt
Yeah.
Chamberlain. He was a basketball
No,
player.
yeah. I got the wrong guy.
was
I don't
going,
know a lot of.
that-
I don't
where
know
do
a
you
lot
get
of
that from?
basketball play. Boy, there are some sport people laughing their heads off at us. But if they know me and Roger, they're not laughing too hard because they expect that kind of talk from us. We don't know anything about sports much.
Neville
but,
Chamberlain, yes.
But
he,
Neville,
he wanted to
the
appease
Prime Minister of
the
England,
Nazis.
who wanted to appease the Nazis. He actually came back and told the people of England, "Oh, don't worry. I went and spoke to Hitler. He's not all that bad. We can work with him. I used my words."
And a year later, London's getting bombed on a daily basis.
You know what you say to people, exactly. And you know what you say to people when they tell you, "Oh, words are just as mean and powerful and hurt just as much as physical items." Yeah. Well, next time somebody says that to you, you invite them outside and say, "You throw your words at me, and I'll shoot you in the foot. Let's see which one hurts more." I mean, it's very simple.
Give peace a chance, and I'll cover you in case it doesn't work
in case
out.
it doesn't work out. Yeah, I'm all willing to give peace a chance, but I'm going to be prepared.
Oh, this has been
Just
known
in case.
for centuries. I mean, the Romans had a phrase for it. Si vis pacem para bellum. If you desire peace, prepare for war.
For war.
That's right. You
Yeah.
have to be prepared to
And-
back up your words.
Yeah, and the Romans learned.
Yeah, they did finally. After they took over half the world.
You know what helped take them down was their democracy idea.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
democracy
Give
came
everybody
right
a vote.
out. Oh yeah.
But now in Chicago, okay, this is weird. Chicago police release a video of Antifa using a protest as cover. So, okay. So they give you a quick rundown here.
And Lightfoot, the
They were
mayor,
the Chicago mayor.
and
Oh,
she
she's an
is a
idiot.
lightweight. Other than
She must have been wearing a mask way before because her brain has been deprived of oxygen for way too long.
So anyway, so there was a peaceful demonstration going on. All of a sudden, a big group breaks off from the peaceful demonstration, moves under the cover of trees. Suddenly, dozens of black umbrellas open up to shield the group from the TV cameras or the what do you call them? The CCTV
well, let me
cameras.
ask you a technical
So-
question. One of those umbrellas, how good are they with a 223 coming at them?
No. This was just to conceal them from the cameras that were there. This was just to get them undercover from the closed circuit television cameras that are almost everywhere now, every restaurant, every traffic intersection. So they put all these umbrellas up so they could be under the cover so no one could see what they were doing.
Stealthy.
And then they decided they changed from their street clothes to all black and distributed items including frozen water bottles and fireworks, which they then used to confront Chicago police officers guarding the Christopher Columbus statue. That's where they were. And in a video, you can see a man in a white shirt dumps out what appears to be bags.
Oh, they
stuff,
were dropping rocks and placing weapons out in the middle so they could have something to throw at the cops.
Nearly 50 officers sustained injury in the following.
It was terrible.
melee. Yeah.
It was you've got
And they arrested 18 protesters.
This is the lawlessness that's going on in some cities, but they don't want you to see it.
That's right.
Look,
now all officers serving on any kind of protest detail are required to wear protective gear for all. So now when you wonder why the police look like they're militarized, because people do this.
Yeah.
And if you say, oh, well, that wasn't us, that was somebody else. Well, if they're in your midst and you're with them, you're just as bad. One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch, right?
I've said this before. If you are part of a peaceful protest and maybe you have all good intentions, the minute your protest is invaded
Or hijacked.
by looters and rioters and violence, you need to walk away. You need to remove yourself from that situation, because there is going to come a time when we're going to have to unleash the police. We're going to unleash the National Guard. Speaking of National Guard, we've got more listeners that are tuning in. So I would like to say hello to Chase Hogarth out there. And Chase, your name just got mentioned all over the country because a lot of people listen to Locked and Loaded, but at some point,
at least seven.
So at some point, we're going to have to unleash the Guard. We're going to unleash the police. We cannot allow this lawlessness to continue. So if you are a peaceful protester, you need to leave when it gets taken over, because just as we saw this weekend,
that's
every
what they're
one of
saying.
these protests are violent.
Peaceful demonstrations are being hijacked by organized mobs.
Yeah, Soros money is paying these agitators to go in. They're dropping bricks, they're dropping weapons, they're dropping rocks.
Oh, there was a spot where
it's-
police were picking. There was a big pile of stuff that was left, and they were loading it. Police were loading it in the back of a truck.
In the back
They were
of a truck.
removing it from the scene because they had to.
And you're going to have idiots like Lightfoot and the prosecutor down in St. Louis who's going to go after the police for saying, why are you taking away the needs of the protesters?
Yes. Well, when the protesters turn violent, eventually the dog's going to have to come off the leash. It's going to have to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to have
or the
to
dog's
stop
going to
this.
break the leash. 'Cause
Yeah.
eventually,
Speaking of that, if the cops really want to take control, they literally bring in the real dog.
Yes.
And,
well, I don't know if I'd subject a dog to that.
They're
Yes.
talking about packing their bags and leaving.
yeah.
The protesters, terrorists, traitors, whatever.
You don't want to be on the wrong end of a
Shepherd.
Belgian Malinois,
Yeah.
Malinois or a
But now this is just
Shepherd.
little stuff. Like they would have a PVC pipe that they were using to hold a sign, and they were sharpening the ends of it.
Wow.
I mean, they were making weapons out of things that were supposedly designed for a peaceful protest.
Right.
So, like I said,
Yeah,
if you have a bad apple there, your whole bunch is being spoiled. Your whole protest goes the way of a terrorist
said,
activity if you allow people to do
yeah.
that and you stand around and watch it as part of a
Yeah.
peaceful protest.
And if you're part of a protest and you stay when they're trying to physically hurt and kill police officers
Or anybody.
Or anybody, but their target are mostly the police, right? Well, I couldn't say that
No.
because they were targeting innocent people and businesses this
Yeah.
weekend as well.
Absolutely.
But if you stand around and support that, then you really need to look in the mirror.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be back. Take a few minutes for a break.
Yes, we'll be back.
Okay.
And I want to remind everybody that Georgia now has some of the greatest, absolutely greatest facilities to remember the veteran. And hope everybody does remember the veteran. And I tell you what, in the subject that they were just talking about, you could call up the veterans to come out and they would teach the terrorists a couple of tricks too. But anyway, we have the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame, and we also have Johns Creek, which is fantastic, the Healing Wall. It's a replica of the Vietnam Wall in Washington, D.C. that travel all over the United States. 50% replica. It's now permanently located in Johns Creek, Georgia at Newtown Park, and it has brought closure to many, many, many folks. So think about that if you're coming to Atlanta or you live here. Just go out to Johns Creek and take a look at the Healing Wall. We'll be back with more on America's Web Radio right after this.
Want to give your family or loved one the perfect gift? Then go online and check out the TornadoBodyDryer.com. I love mine and the warm heat air massage it gives me after my shower. The Tornado Body Dryer is super. You'll love it, and you'll love having one in your shower. Get your pen and paper ready. If there's a move in your near future, I'm here to tell you that the folks I used and now recommend is Around Town Movers. Timothy and the guys recently moved me, and I am and was totally satisfied with a sometimes not so fun experience moving. Call Timothy at 770-378-4708 and make it a good move and a good experience. Around Town Movers for that local or cross-country move. Timothy, Around Town Movers, in my opinion, are the best. That's Around Town Movers. Call them.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back. Thank you, everyone. We deserve that, but not that damn tomato somebody just threw. Anyway,
At least it wasn't an egg.
at least it wasn't an egg.
Although it's
Or
hot enough
egg,
to
yeah.
fry one today.
Anyway, we're back in this well-produced show, well thought out, well-produced, a lot of time and effort. You know, what we do in the background, folks, to get ready for this show is about as much as Lightweight does in Chicago to get ready to
To stop
Face
violent
off.
protests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
That must be in the wrong place if there's a lot of preparation necessary.
Preparation H, I think, and she talks with the idiot in Portland frequently, and that's their preparation for the next night. What do we do next? Just stand back. They'll ease off. They'll be good boys and
Yeah,
girls.
sure they will.
And you don't have
No.
to do anything. Just they'll get tired of this after a while.
Yeah, but like I said, with the McCloskeys, that was something I wanted to bring up, is that these people did nothing wrong but defend their property against people who broke, entered, trespassed, and threatened them. And now they're being held, they're being charged with a crime. So, you know, you have to look at this and go, as a law-abiding citizen, what do you do if protesters come to your house? Can you actually rely on the legal system to work for you? Or are they going to just protect protesters and let's say, well, it was only property that they destroyed. So, you know, you shouldn't be able to shoot somebody for that.
Is the Portland Police Department still in effect, or have they?
This is in St. Louis. This
or St.
happened.
Louis. I'm sorry, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Have they abandoned ship?
Well, not all police have abandoned anything anywhere, you know. And the governor of the state is saying He said if they get brought up on charges, he was going to consider pardoning them. And Trump said he would get involved and possibly pardon them if they got charged with a crime.
Yeah.
So apparently,
The governor has
Right.
stepped up. The
Yeah, but
governor
they can't pardon until they've been
they
convicted.
have to, they have to, they have to at least
Yeah.
start prosecuting them, and he can pardon them as soon as they
But
get into it.
I don't think the McCloskeys going to lose. I don't know how, if they lose. That's going to be
They need
horrible.
they need to
precedent.
countersue for damages in a tremendous
Oh,
amount.
absolutely.
Yes.
They need to countersue. I'd sue
Yes.
the snot.
Not
out of
in
them.
fact,
the
like I
city
said,
pay for-
Yeah.
buy them
everybody
100
should-
new guns.
Everybody should take up Twitter and block that stupid Lightfoot Gardner, Kim Gardner,
Gardner,
that's
Kim
a
Gardner.
prosecutor, and email or Twitter her that she's a baboon and is acting like one, and blast her from every direction on Twitter.
Yeah,
And,
she's
just-
politically motivated. That's
Yeah.
all it is politics.
Yep, I agree. And
Yep.
she's trying to show power that she doesn't have now nor ever will have.
But I think if you support, Black Lives Matter. If you have to put a black or a white or an Asian or a blue in front of Lives Matter, then you're a racist.
Then
I'm
something's
sorry.
wrong. Well, answer me this. Since we've got a bunch of brainiacs over here.
Where?
Yeah. How do you fight? How does it make sense to use the very thing you say you're fighting? So if you tell me you're against racism, you're against privilege, but then you use racism and privilege
to do what to do what you want to do.
I mean,
yeah.
it just again progressivism.
Well, what
It's
is the thing?
constant
Someone
battle
goes,
with itself.
"Oh, you have no idea what it's like. You've grown up white. No one's ever judged you on the color of your skin. You just did."
Yeah, you just did. I know it's insane. And how do they know? They don't know how you lived. They
That's
don't
right.
know
They
your
don't know what you were
upbringing.
brought up with. They don't know what happened to you. Yeah, nobody knows your story unless they ask.
I remember a time when we went to a musical festival, Roger, and there were two girls that made you look short.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they were making short jokes all around, and it wasn't just for me.
that's right. That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so you may.
The girl goes, "Come on, Victor, let's walk around. We'll tell everybody you're my boyfriend."
Yeah, we did. I came up to
now,
her waist.
Victor, really,
The girl's like 6'6"
were
or
you
6'7"?
riding on Roger's shoulders at the end?
No, I really wasn't. These girls were tall.
Yes.
Okay, I want to bring up one other thing, and I'm sure you've got it in your notes there.
I do.
Ruh-roh.
I think one of the saddest and most terrible things is this massacre in Florida, where the guy's friends were meeting to go fishing down in No Frost or something like that.
I don't
Florida.
have the story.
You don't have the story?
No.
Okay, well,
Give me the scoop.
What was
well,
this?
this happened a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And
don't think I've heard.
one of the fathers got called, and all he heard was his son yell "help!" And then they were found. They don't know what the cause is. They don't know if it was road rage or what. But it was, and the three guys were driving independently, and they pulled up to where they knew the area. That's where they were going to park to go fishing, and somebody or some bodies came up and shot them one at a time as they pulled up. And they
Now,
have
was there
no-
any race involved here? Do they know? They don't know who did
They
it.
don't
though.
know.
They have
yeah.
no idea, and they're asking for any kind of public support. And I believe it's called No Frost, Florida, right in the center, sort of down below Orlando.
Oh wow! So
And,
Central Florida.
Yeah, and they shot all three of them as each one would drive up. They'd shoot 'em.
Wow,
And
that's crazy.
They were
Oh, it
in their
is.
cars driving, and they shot him as they drove by.
No, as they drove up to meet, one drove in, and this is a local hangout area, what they're saying on the news, local hangout area for kids to smoke and do drugs and all this kind of stuff.
So
And
there may
so-
be some background here that we're not getting.
Yeah, well, they may have driven in, they may have decided on this place. They'd been there before, the three guys had, and they'd gone fishing there many times before. And so they drive in, and they suspect maybe they interrupted a dope deal, or they don't know.
Or
just
they
don't
may have
know.
even been involved. We don't know.
Right.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, this
And,
could have been some. Yeah.
So anyway, but as each one of them would drive in and park, they were shot. And,
Wow.
it's being called a massacre, and I just,
Yeah, we need more information about that.
let me ask you,
Seems
Mr.
awfully
B.
random.
Yeah, but it's also like the judge and that.
There was nothing random about that.
No,
He
that
took
was
on
a-
a case with Epstein involved.
Well, she did.
She did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, Epstein. Let's just say the Clinton death machine was probably involved in that somehow.
But let me ask you.
Am I in trouble now?
There was,
All of us carry, but I've gotten to the point that depending on what time it is at night, I obviously carry, but I don't keep around in the chamber. I've just always stayed away from it. But now, when I'm driving in at night, and some mornings when I leave extremely early, because I'm fairly routine, but I do chamber around now.
Keep it in a holster
Yeah.
and keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot. And having one in the chamber should not be an issue, especially if the gun has a safety.
A safety.
Yeah,
Other
well,
than-
fortunately, the 380 doesn't have a safety.
Doesn't have a
That's
safety.
okay. You have
Yeah,
a
but
safety.
it's got a heavy
right
trigger.
here.
It's
There's
got a heavy
safety.
trigger though. Yeah, just keep your finger off that trigger and
And it's in a
It'll be
holster, so you
good.
can't accidentally fire it. Or you should be cautious of that, as if it's a good holster.
yeah.
And
but,
just learn, just practice with drawing and firing, and make sure that finger stays off the trigger till it's out of the holster, and boom, no problem. But yeah, you don't have time nowadays. I mean, if something happens, things happen so quickly.
Well, nowadays
You don't necessarily have time
you
to
just
even
don't
get
know.
to your weapon,
Yeah,
much
you
less
don't
have to
know.
rack
Exactly.
it.
You just got to be ready.
And we don't know which Antifa we pissed off today. So
Right.
I hope it's all of them.
Well, David, unfortunately, all you got to do is walk in front of them. They're going to be pissed off because apparently you're just exude privilege.
Yeah.
Because of the color of your skin. Now, mind you, they're not racist, but they're going to make every
They're
judgment
gonna
about you
judge you
because of
based
the
on
color
that.
of your skin.
Yep, that's right.
It's so yeah.
We're
I
not
don't-
racist. You just were.
You just were. So I don't blame you for chambering up.
I can't figure out why they didn't choose other parents.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a feeling these Antifa guys are going to get tired and go back to their basements because they're probably missing their video games by now.
Well,
Eventually, once the summer's over and it gets too cold, they're not going to come out.
I'll
as much.
tell you what's going to stop it: law enforcement.
Yeah.
When they know that they're going to be right now, they know that the politicians, well, the Democrats mostly, are on their side, and they know that they're being funded and they're being paid.
Oh, yeah,
when
no
that
doubt.
dries up, or at least when the government steps down and says no, lawlessness will not stand, then they're like, they're going to be a little less inclined to go to jail. Just like if you notice, there aren't too many statues coming down anymore.
Right, because they
Because
put guards
President
out in
Trump,
front of them. President
well, he
Simpson,
put an executive order, 10 years.
You commit a felony, minimum
Yeah.
10-year crime for
10
doing
years,
it. That's
and
right.
there was a federal crime anyway, but now it's 10 years.
Minimum.
Pull it down, you're going
Yeah.
in jail for 10 years. And boy, amazing how that stops.
Yeah.
'Cause people don't want to actually have to do time. They
That's
don't want to be
right.
responsible for
They
their
just-
actions.
They just want to get let loose and do it again.
My feeling is not only should the person that tears down the statue go to jail for 10 years, but they should be entertained and have their loved ones there with them, like their mother and father that did a lousy job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes they
they-
do get everything they need, and they still turn out as bad apples.
I'd say put them in jail for 10 years, and that 10 years, they need to learn how to build and replace the one they took down.
That's right.
Let's give 'em a skill.
Let me ask: is Guantanamo busy these days?
I think there might be space at Guantanamo.
That's right. We may have freed up a little space.
Because rules of engagements have changed under Trump. So there's a lot more terrorists taking the dirt nap.
Yes.
So that frees up space at the prison system.
What is it? The guy in
Guantanamo.
Iran said, "Oh, are you going to send us a pallet load of cash?" He goes, "Yeah, wait at the airport."
Yeah, just wait right there at the airport. Make sure you wear bright clothing and wave your hand in the air so we can make sure that we're dropping it off on the right guy.
That's right.
And then dirt nap.
That's right. Very much so.
mean-
That was brilliant. Yeah, he's like, and now you notice how all that is calmed way down now.
Yes.
It's amazing what happens when you show a little force and show a
Look,
little backbone.
The only
Something
thing
Obama never had.
No, he didn't. He kind of in a way
He was funding them.
He aided and abetted these people, and the only thing a terrorist understands is
Power.
exactly
Power and violence.
power, violence, and death. And look, there's a reason that the leader of Al Qaeda, the leader of ISIS, the leader of Hezbollah, there's a reason they're making videos and telling people to go kill themselves. They're not the one. I mean,
That's
if
right.
they
It's not up to
believe
them.
the crap they spout, they
So
would be
they're-
strapping on the bombs
They're
themselves.
like elite
They're like elite
leftists.
Democrats.
Yeah, they're like the leftist elitist.
Hey, look, I said it earlier.
Good for you, but not for me.
But not for me. Yeah, you can blow up, but not me. Somebody's gotta eat the meat.
Oh, you see,
and
you're the
enjoy
little terrorist mother. She's attending to her little babies and go, oh, they blow up so fast.
They blow up so fast.
Oh, that was
it's
bad.
It's sad, but well, you know what? It's true. I mean, think about it. And there are some of these mothers that willfully let their kids go into this.
I know,
mess.
get into it, involved in
You
it.
know, the Vietnamese were famous for that too.
Yeah, it's awful.
Letting their kids go down a road that was
full of
Amy was
mines.
mines, because they wanted to find out where the mines
They wanted
were.
to find out where the mines are. Their idea of mine cleaning,
their life
sweeping
value
was
their value for life is way below what ours is. You know,
well, their
It's like-
idea to clear a minefield was to throw a ball and let the kids chase it.
Yep, and see if they can
Well,
walk
they
up
they
it.
also
Yeah.
blew up a lot of troops by sending their kids
Forcing them in, yeah.
because a trooper couldn't stand seeing a little girl or a little boy that was
In danger.
in danger and thin as a bone
Right.
and needed that chocolate. But anyway, this has been an interesting show. We got about 12 minutes to go, something like that. And, your weapon of choice today, Mr. B.
Well, you know what? I want to bring that up. This is a subject I haven't discussed
It's
yet.
funny you ask.
And I wanted to bring this up because I mentioned it as this is our tagline
This
actually
is,
for today
this
for
is
the show.
called pre-production.
Yes. I was going to mention today the preparation. We talk about, being a prepper and preparing. And one thing that has become extremely popular as of late is what's called a truck gun. Now, most people know if you have any insight into this, or if you read any about it, basically a truck gun is some sort of longer range weapon that you keep in your vehicle or in a bag that you carry in your vehicle, that if the Shinola hits the fan and you need more than the handgun you're carrying, you have something bigger, badder, faster, and with longer range within a few steps or within your vehicle's reach if you're away from home. At home, everybody keeps whatever they've got. If you still have anything left after the boating accidents.
Right.
You
right.
keep them loaded, you keep extra magazines loaded, but in your car, you're probably very vulnerable because if you're caught away from home and you need to get home, you need something more than a pistol and 3 magazines. Mm-hmm. You might need a rifle of some sort or some longer range weapon. Now, a lot of people will use a pistol caliber carbine to do this, which is it's a rifle version of a 9mm, 45, 10mm. It's a pistol caliber, but it's in a rifle version, which gives you longer range, better aim, but you're still limited to 100, 150 yards. Now, since the advent of the pistol brace, it basically allows you to have a compact package that you can shoulder in rifle cartridges, 5.56, 300 blackout, AK style, 7.62, 39, whatever. It's a rifle cartridge, and any good Marine will tell you, you use your pistol to fight your way to your rifle.
To your rifle, yes.
And now people are
Any good
building these
military
small, compact weapons with several magazines loaded in a bag, hidden somewhere in their car or truck. Or I've even seen one that had double folding stock and a removable barrel that fit in a messenger bag.
Oh, that's awesome.
This
So
guy had 3 magazines.
That's even better
and
than
his weapon
fitting in a
in his
backpack.
messenger bag. Yeah, backpack, messenger bag. It looks like it's just a standard, like a man purse.
Right.
But-
hey, look, my man purse, I told you, it's called a gun bag.
That's right. But, it looks like it's just a man bag, and the guy whips this thing out, puts it together, and in 20 seconds, he's locked and loaded with a 30-round mag of rifle ammunition.
Yeah. Hey.
Does it drag the ground?
Somebody asked me not too long ago. They made a comment about, because if I'm wearing shorts with no pockets or anything because of this hot weather, I do carry a sling over my shoulder with a bag on it. And I was asked.
I think all you Mexicans do that.
Yeah, right. I was asked about my man
I
bag.
thought it was a
by-
backpack blower.
I was a blower. I was asked about the man bag, and they made a little joke about it, and I told them, well, what comes out of this man bag is going to be a lot more powerful than what comes out of your man bag.
Oh, I was carrying a fanny pack for years.
Yeah.
And all of my clients, one guy says, okay, what do you do? I come up behind you, you're down there. And I unzip the bag, and I turn around, and he goes, man, I've known you for 10 years. I never knew there was a gun in there.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Those are great because it's got the tearaway front pouch.
Yeah, that's
So it
right.
just
It's got a
comes one
zipper
hand
pull,
move And it's open.
And it's
and
in
you
a
got
holster
the- yeah.
inside there, velcroed into the back wall. Yeah.
Yep.
There's room for handcuffs if you need to detain somebody, extra magazines. Yeah, I mean,
keep cuffs
be
in my
prepared.
car. I'm not going to tell you why, but I do.
Well,
Go ahead.
Is that for sex also?
Well, you know,
Are those fur lined?
I'm not going to say whether they're heart shaped or not.
No, but a truck gun is becoming more and more desirable now because you never know where you're going to run it. I mean, you could just be on your way home and you could run into protesters and your life could be in danger. And you're looking at your gun, you got, maybe a mag or two with you or maybe one mag with you. What are you going to do against 200 people?
Right.
Now, granted, you try and get some distance. First, you want to get distance
Always.
because distance you have an advantage. If they still come,
And
then if you have a
this is-
rifle cartridge, you have the
You
distance.
have the distance.
Equalizer.
This is an instance where I highly recommend doubling, tripling, or quadrupling your social distance.
Yes,
Distancing.
6 feet is not
Because-
enough.
No, because distance is your friend. You're absolutely right. And Roger, there have been examples already where there was a lady just trying to get home and she was surrounded by the mob and couldn't move her car.
Yep.
Those
They
are
threw a rock
situations
through
where
her
and they
window.
threw a rock through a window. You're going to need
Gashed her arm,
more
gashed her
ammo
leg.
and
She was
firepower.
bleeding out
Well,
in the
at that
car before
point-
she found the police.
At that point, it's in drive,
Yeah.
and you step on the gas.
Which she did.
She
eventually.
finally did
She
after some guy came and brandished a pistol at her.
Right, yeah, and then she figured, well, it's you or me. I'm out of here. But those are situations where you might need some more ammo. I mean,
Yeah,
you
carry
need
it. I mean-
firepower to get yourself out of these
Yes,
situations.
and sometimes
it's
it
your
will require
right to
more than
do
a pistol.
so.
Yeah, you might
And
need
it's
more
your
than a
right
pistol.
to do so. If it's
You know,
your
the-
life against
the
theirs.
shame of it is, and I don't want to sound like whatever, but
What is
women
whatever
are very vulnerable.
more so.
and
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today,
Some of them. There's
today,
some.
though, and every woman or any women that are listening, please be careful and know your surroundings. And
Yeah, situational
You know,
awareness.
yes,
Can't talk about it enough.
and just be prepared for, and have that telephone ready to call 911 or whatever you need to do. But be prepared, be aware. Like you said,
Take your nose out of your
situational
phone.
surroundings.
Take your nose out of your
Yes.
phone for 5 seconds
You know,
if you're alone walking
maybe,
at night.
Maybe next week we'll do a little bit of a part of the show on what, and not just women, but women, men, anybody, the little things you can do that will completely change your situational awareness when you're exiting a building at night, going to your car, or even in your driveway going to your door. There are things you can do that you're not doing now, and you're probably not doing now, that you should be doing.
I make it a habit of, one, I make sure my garage door is down when I leave in the morning because I know I'm not going to be back until late. And the other thing I do, if there's anything out of place when I drive up,
Yeah, then your cackles rise.
Yes.
What do they call
Yeah,
those on the
cackles,
dogs?
yeah.
Cackles rise, and they should.
Hackles,
They
yeah.
should. That's the other thing, David. Part 2. So situational awareness and then observation.
Well, that's part of being aware of the situation.
Well, it is, but when
Pay
you're
attention.
yeah. No, you're right.
That's
But a
pretty
lot of
much
people
a-
don't understand. You have to break it down for them.
That's a general life lesson. Always pay attention.
Well,
Even when you're at the
but-
drive-through line and the guy behind you's beeping at you to go ahead
Yeah.
because you're playing on your phone and not paying attention.
How many? You mentioned this in the drive-through. That is one place, absolutely. If you sit there with your window down and waiting in line at night, you're opening yourself to some bad things happen, because it has happened. There are criminals that will hide and wait while you're in line. You're 3 or 4 cars back. You're in the dark. They'll just reach in your window. Boom! They've got you. They've
Well, they
got
do
the
that
gun. They've got
gas
whatever.
stations.
Yeah.
If you go put gas in your car, you leave your car open while you're doing it. Someone
Yeah.
sneaks around the other
That's
side,
crazy.
opens your door,
And
grabs
opens your
whatever
door,
you
grabs
have on
whatever
the
you-
passenger
yeah.
seat or the
Yeah.
driver's seat, whichever side
Yeah.
you're fueling on.
So
you may
there-
not even know it's
And
gone
you
until
won't even
after
know
you
until you
leave.
drive away. And that's if you're lucky they don't come after you.
Or if you leave your car running
no.
when you run into a convenience store for
Well,
5
that's-
seconds. Oh my God,
Look,
that's
you,
just dumb.
You deserve it if you're doing that. If you're
Yeah.
leaving your car running and you're going in
tr-
because you're that
trying to
lazy,
get the insurance money. What?
Well, yeah, right. You gotta be. There's a name for that.
Yeah, I mean, stupid is as stupid,
Stupid
does.
That's it. And this we're kidding about this sort of only to make you listen and be aware. That's I have a situation with somebody that it could be hailing outside and she wouldn't realize the weather was bad, And there's so many people like that, and you have to.
I'm sure none of them listen to this show, though.
You have to do that when you're driving as well. Be prepared and be aware of the car behind you, the car aside of you, and in front of you.
Especially more so even if you're on a motorcycle.
But now,
you better be scanning.
If you have a truck gun, make sure it's accessible. Now, one guy I know, he used to keep his in a tennis bag.
Oh, yeah.
Like a tennis racket bag. And he could take that thing anywhere. And nobody would question it.
No one would know
Take
the
it to
difference.
restaurants. He'd be sitting around somewhere in his shorts, have his tennis bag with him, and nobody would give him a second thought.
No.
But if anything happened, that bag came open, and there was a rifle in that thing, not a tennis racket. Now, if someone wanted to know what kind of tennis racket he had, that would have been an awkward conversation.
I had when I farmed, I had one of my pickups, or my last pickup actually, had the in the side of the door, there's that empty space.
A pocket there,
And so there was a thing that you could buy that had a zipper in it, and you could
covered up,
fit right there.
And I had always had a pistol hanging there. And,
Right, but that's the only thing about that is it's visible. Someone's driving, unless you take it with you when you get out of the car every time, they're going to look in the car, see a pistol, they'll break in and steal your gun.
They couldn't. The zipper it covered.
Covered it up.
But I don't know that I've ever, and particularly now with the remote or the key fob, I never leave my car unlocked.
Yeah,
never,
better not
ever.
to.
And I don't leave stuff that is
Don't
invited.
leave stuff visible.
Right.
Yeah. Don't make it inviting.
Basic stuff. But all I say with a truck gun, if you have a way to hide it or a way to carry it with you, ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
like that.
if you have to get to your car
backpack,
or a
good idea.
baseball bat, baseball
And
bag
then
or
when
something,
you're
sports bag.
walking through the metal detector and all the sirens go off.
Whoops. Let's hope you don't run into any metal
it's like-
detectors while you're carrying your truck gun around.
It's like the mariachi with his guitar case.
That's
There
right.
ain't exactly a guitar in there.
Or I think they used to use violin cases, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
For the
I think
choppers.
so.
Yeah.
I think Mr.
Capone.
Capone sort of got the violin cases into multiple uses.
The best one I saw was a guitar case, and it had all the weaponry in it, but on the outside were Biden and Obama and rainbow flag stickers. I mean, it was camouflage level expert.
That is definitely expert level
He had
camo.
flowers on it and stuff. I mean, you would have thought this guy was a screaming lib until that lid comes off.
It's kind of like what they did at one of the protest rallies. They slapped some Biden and rainbow stickers on some cars.
No, Trump-
They put
Trump
Trump
stickers.
stickers on cars.
Yes.
And they ended up beating up their own cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the protesters came by. I saw the Trump stickers, started smashing the cars.
Make America great again.
Make America great. And
Okay, with that being said, folks, it's time to put the plug in the jug.
In
Get
the
out of here
jug.
for another session of America's Web Radio. Thank Mr. B for an excellent, well-produced show.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Well-produced show on the fly, as
Well
they say.
produced.
But remember,
anyway.
Bevelin Beatty, Hero of the Week.
Hero of the Week. And in
That's
contention for Hero of the Month.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.